Assalamu alaikum. PMS Pakistan Studies. First topic, Muslim rule in the subcontinent and its downfall. Muslim rule in the subcontinent began in 712 AD 712 when Muhammad bin Qasim, a Muslim general, conquered Sindh, present-day Pakistan, and established the first Muslim state in the region. Muslim rule in the subcontinent continued for over 800 years with various dynasties and empires ruling over different parts of the region, including the Ghaznavids, the Ghoris, the Delhi Sultanate, and the Mughal Empire. During the early years of the Muslim rule, the Muslim rulers were generally tolerant towards the Hindu population and allowed them to practice their religion freely. However, over the time, Muslim rulers became increasingly oppressive towards the non-Muslim population, leading to a series of Hindu-Muslim conflicts. The downfall of Muslim rule in the subcontinent can be attributed to several factors, including economic decline. The Muslim rulers of the subcontinent faced significant economic challenges, including high levels of corruption, inefficiency in tax collection, and declining trade revenues. This led to a decline in the economic prosperity of the region. Second, political instability. The subcontinent experienced a period of political instability during the later years of Muslim rule, with frequent revolts and uprisings against the Muslim rulers. This weakened the central authority and paved the way for the eventual collapse of Muslim rule. Then, military weakness. The Muslim rulers of the subcontinent faced significant military challenges, including frequent invasions from neighboring empires and the rise of new military powers within the region. This weakened the military strength of the Muslim rulers and that left them vulnerable to attacks. Fourth one is internal divisions. The Muslim rulers of subcontinent were often divided along sectarian, ethnic, and linguistic lines. This led to internal conflicts and weakened the overall stability of the Muslim rule. The downfall of the Muslim rule in subcontinent was a complex process that took place over several centuries. It was driven by a combination of economic, political, military, and social factors, as well as internal divisions within the Muslim ruling class. The eventual collapse of the Muslim rule paved the way for the emergence of British colonial rule in the subcontinent. Muslim Renaissance, reform, and educational movements. The 19th and early 20th centuries saw a period of Muslim Renaissance, reform, and educational movements, particularly in the response to the decline of Muslim political power and the growing influence of European colonial powers. Some of the prominent movements during this period include Wahhabi movement. This was a reform movement that emerged in Saudi Arabia in the 18th century, but its influence spread throughout the Muslim world in the 19th century. The Wahhabi movement emphasized a return to the pure teachings of Islam as practiced during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and called for the elimination of what it saw as innovations and excesses in Islamic practice. Second, Aligarh movement. The Aligarh movement was founded by the Sir Syed Ahmad Khan in India in the late 19th century. It aimed to modernize and reform the Muslim community in India, particularly in the area of education. The Aligarh movement established the Aligarh Muslim University, which became a leading center of Islamic and Western education in India. Third, Salafi movement. The Salafi movement emerged in Egypt in the late 19th century and called for a return to the early Islamic tradition as a way to combat the perceived decline of the Muslim world. The movement emphasized the importance of following the Quran and Sunnah as understood by the early Muslim community. Fourth, Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood was founded in Egypt in 1928 and aimed to promote Islamic values and principles as a way to persist Western cultural influence. The movement also called for social justice and political reform within Muslim societies. Fifth, Deobandi movement. The Deobandi movement was founded in India in the late 19th century and emphasized the importance of Islamic education and religious practices. The movement established numerous madrasas Islamic schools throughout the Muslim world and became known for its conservative interpretation of Islamic law. These movements sought to promote Islamic revival, reform, and education in response to the challenges facing the Muslim world during this period. They emphasized the importance of turning to the pure teachings of Islam and adapting Islamic practices to the changing social and political realities of the modern world. Pakistan movement. The Pakistan movement was a political movement in the 1940s that aimed to create a separate homeland for the Muslims of India. The movement was led by the All India Muslim League, which was founded in 1906 to represent the political interests of the Muslim community in British India. The roots of the Pakistan movement can be traced back to the partition of Bengal in 1905, which created a separate Muslim majority province in eastern India. The partition was seen as a victory for Muslim political representation, but it also highlighted the growing communal tensions between the Hindu and Muslim communities in India. Over the next few decades, the Muslim League grew in size and influence, and its leaders began to advocate for the creation of a separate Muslim state in India. The idea of a separate Muslim state gained momentum during the 1940s as the British government prepared to transfer power to Indian hands. In 1940, the Muslim League passed the Lahore Resolution, which called for a creation of an independent Muslim state in the northwestern and eastern regions of India. The resolution became the cornerstone of the Pakistan movement, and Muslim League leaders, including Muhammad Ali Jinnah, worked tirelessly to build support for the idea of a separate Muslim state. The Pakistan movement faced insignificant opposition from the Indian National Congress, which opposed the idea of partition India along religious lines. However, the Muslim League was able to mobilize the support of the Muslim community in India, particularly in the northwestern and eastern regions, where Muslims were in the majority. In August 1947, the British government announced the partition of India into two separate states, India and Pakistan. Pakistan became an independent Muslim majority state consisting of two geographically separate regions, West Pakistan, present-day Pakistan, and East Pakistan, present-day Bangladesh. The Pakistan movement was a defining movement in the history of the Indian subcontinent, and it had far-reaching consequences for the region. The creation of Pakistan led to the largest migration in human history, as millions of Hindus and Muslims were forced to leave their homes and move to the newly created states. The partition also sparked widespread violence and unrest, leading to the loss of hundreds of thousands of lives. However, it also paved the way for the creation of a separate homeland for the Muslims of India who had long felt marginalized and excluded from mainstream Indian politics. Rule of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was a prominent Muslim reformer, educationist, and political leader who played a significant role in the socio-political and intellectual revival of the Muslims of the Indian subcontinent in the 19th century. He was born in Delhi in 1817 and belonged to a family of high-ranking officials in the Mughal Empire. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan is best known for his efforts to promote modern education among the Muslim community in India. He believed that education was the sorry key to key to the progress and development of the Muslim community, and he worked tirelessly to establish education institutions that would provide a modern secular education to Muslim students. In 1875, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan founded the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College in Aligarh, which later became the Aligarh University. The institution was designed to provide modern Western style education to Muslim students while also preserving the traditional Islamic values and culture of the community. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was also a strong advocate of Hindu-Muslim unity and believed that the two communities could work together to achieve their common goals. He was deeply committed to the idea of secularism and believed that the separation of religion from the politics was essential for the progress and development of the Indian society. In addition to his work in the field of education, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was also a prominent political leader and social reformer. He was a staunch supporter of the British Raj and believed that a cooperation with the British government was essential for the progress and development of India. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's contributions to the intellectual and social awakening of the Muslim community in India were immense. He played a crucial role in the promoting modern education among Muslims and helped to establish a network of institutions that would serve as the foundation of the Muslim intellectual and social renaissance in the subcontinent. His legacy continues to inspire generations of Muslims in India and beyond. Role of Allama Iqbal. Allama Iqbal was one of the most prominent leaders and thinkers of the Pakistan movement. He was a philosopher, poet, and politician who played a significant role in shaping the intellectual and political discourse of the Muslim community in India in the early 20th century. Iqbal was born in Sialkot in 1877 and received his early education in his hometown. He went on to study at the universities of Lahore, Cambridge, and Munich, where he obtained degrees in philosophy, literature, and law. He was deeply influenced by the teachings of the Sufi tradition and the ideas of the Western philosophers such as Nietzsche, Goethe, and Bergson. Iqbal's poetry and philosophical writings played a critical role in shaping the Muslim identity and consciousness in India. He advocated for the revival of the Islamic intellectual tradition and called for a renewed emphasis on the Islamic values of social justice, equality, and the human dignity. Iqbal was a staunch supporter of the Pakistan movement and believed that a separate Muslim state was essential for the progress and development of the Muslim community in India. He delivered several speeches and wrote numerous articles in support of the idea of a separate Muslim state, which later became Pakistan. Iqbal's most significant contribution to the Pakistan movement was his concept of the two nation theory, which argued that Hindus and Muslims in India were separate nations with distinct culture, social, and political identities. This idea played a crucial role in the mobilizing the Muslim community in India to in support of the creation of Pakistan. In 1930, Iqbal presided over the All India Muslim League's annual session in Allahabad, where he presented his famous presidential address, which came to be known as the Allahabad Address. In his speech, Iqbal outlined his vision of a separate Muslim state in India and called for the formation of a Muslim majority state in the northern, western, and eastern regions of the India. Iqbal's ideas and contributions to the Pakistan movement were instrumental in the creation of Pakistan in 1947. He remains a revered figure in Pakistan's history and is widely regarded as the spiritual father of the Pakistan of the nation. Role of the Quaid in the making of Pakistan. Qaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah is widely regarded as the founder of the Pakistan and played a pivotal role in the making of the country. He was a lawyer, politician, and statesman who devoted his life to the cause of the Muslim community in India and led the Pakistan movement that culminated in the creation of Pakistan in 1947. Jinnah was born in Karachi in 1876 and received his early education in Karachi and Bombay. He later went to London, where he studied law and became a barrister. After returning to India, he joined the Indian National Congress and worked closely with other Indian leaders to secure greater political rights for the Muslim community. However, Jinnah soon became disillusioned with the Congress and its policies, which he believed were dominated by Hindus and did not adequately represent the interests of Muslims. He eventually joined the All India Muslim League and became its leader in 1934. Jinnah's leadership and political acumen were instrumental in mobilizing the Muslim community in India in support of the idea of a separate Muslim state. He led the Pakistan movement with great skill and determination, using his legal and practical expertise to negotiate with the British government and other Indian leaders. Jinnah's vision of Pakistan was one of that would provide a safe haven for the Muslim community in India and ensure their social, cultural, and political rights. He believed in the principles of democracy, equality, and social justice, and worked tirelessly to create a society that would embody these values. Jinnah's most significant contribution to the Pakistan movement was his leadership and unwavering commitment to the cause of Pakistan. He negotiated with the British government and other Indian leaders to secure the creation of Pakistan and led the new nation as its first Governor General. Jinnah's legacy continues to inspire generations of Pakistanis who regarded him as a national hero and one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century. His unwavering commitment to the cause of Pakistan and his vision of a society based on the principles of democracy, equality, and social justice continue to shape Pakistan's political and social landscape. Thank you for listening. नेक्स्ट वीडियो में हम लैंड एंड पीपल ऑफ पाकिस्तान डिस्कस करेंगे इन डिटेल. अल्लाह हाफिज़.